The stars stretched endlessly across the dark canvas of space. Among them, the human starship Aurora glided silently, its silver hull reflecting the faint light of distant suns. Captain Alex Rayner stood on the bridge, hands resting lightly on the railing, staring at the swirling blue and green orb ahead. "This is Zythera," said Lieutenant Mara, pointing at the planet on the holographic display. "Uncharted, beautiful, and completely alien," Alex smiled. "Alien, yes. But humans have a habit of making the impossible work." The crew exchanged looks. Alex's confidence was legendary among them, sometimes reckless, sometimes brilliant. But it was exactly that unpredictable spark that had earned him the command of this first human diplomatic mission to the Zytheran system. Zythera was unlike anything humans had ever encountered. Its atmosphere shimmered with a soft iridescence, and massive floating islands hovered above vast oceans. Giant crystalline structures jutted from the land like the bones of some long-forgotten creature, and from orbit it was clear that someone, or something, was ruling this world with absolute power. "Sensors show life forms, Captain," said Mara. "Very advanced and unusual." Alex's brow lifted. "Unusual how?" "They're massive, bioluminescent, and they seem aware of us already. Almost as if they're waiting," Alex grinned. "Then let's not keep them waiting." The landing sequence was tense but smooth. Aurora touched down on a crystalline plateau, the surface glowing softly under the ship's thrusters. The air shimmered with an energy Alex could almost feel. As the crew disembarked, they were struck by the beauty around them. Translucent plants that floated like jellyfish, streams of light flowing like liquid, and massive crystalline towers that reflected the world in fractal patterns. At the heart of it all, a figure waited. She emerged from a massive spire, her form tall and elegant, wings of translucent energy folding behind her. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, and her eyes glowed with a light that seemed to pierce right through Alex. She was regal, terrifying, and beautiful. Alex's chest tightened. This must be the legendary Queen Lyrith. Stories of her power had reached Earth, and though many feared her, Alex felt only curiosity and something else. The Queen's gaze swept over the human delegation, lingering on Alex longer than on anyone else. Her voice was smooth yet sharp, like metal sliding over crystal. "How dare you even look at me?" she demanded. A ripple of shock ran through the human crew. They had trained for diplomacy, negotiation, and even first contact with alien species. But nothing had prepared them for this. Captain Rayner stepped forward. He smiled. A warm, confident, almost cheeky smile that seemed to clash with the gravity of the moment. "'Cause you're beautiful," he said. There was silence. The Queen's eyes narrowed, a flicker of surprise passing across her face. She did not expect boldness. She did not expect charm. And she certainly did not expect laughter in the face of authority. "Bold," she hissed, her tone both amused and warning. "And foolish." Alex did not flinch. "Maybe. But humans have a habit of surprising people. Sometimes in ways they like, sometimes in ways they don't." Her expression softened. Just a fraction. She studied him for a long moment, as if trying to read a language she had never learned. Finally she spoke. "Very well. You may approach. But know this, human, respect is earned, not given. And your kind is untested here." Alex inclined his head. "Understood. But I think you'll find humans persistent." They were led into the palace, a vast structure of crystalline light that defied gravity and logic. Every step Alex took echoed through halls that shimmered with moving patterns, almost as if the building itself were alive. The vireless attendants floated gracefully around them, their expressions unreadable, observing the humans with curiosity and subtle suspicion. Alex could feel the eyes of the Queen on him the entire time. She moved with a fluid grace that humans could only admire from afar. And yet, there was something familiar about the way she studied him. Not fear, not anger, but an unspoken question. The first audience hall opened into a vast chamber. The walls glowed with soft hues of blue and violet, shifting patterns of light flowing like rivers. At the center floated a throne, or something that resembled one. A structure of crystal that seemed suspended in mid-air, radiating both authority and elegance. Queen Lyrith settled upon it, wings folding behind her like the petals of some strange flower. "Sit," she commanded. Alex sat on a platform across from her, aware of the tension between them. This was no ordinary meeting. Every word, every gesture, every glance was a test. And Alex was not the sort to fail tests. Your species has come far, the Queen said. Yet you are fragile. You do not understand the forces at play in the galaxy. You step into realms of power you cannot even imagine. Alex leaned forward slightly, elbows on his knees. Maybe, but humans adapt. We survive. We find ways to thrive, and we learn faster than you think. A subtle ripple of amusement passed over her face. Do you truly believe you are special? Alex met her gaze without hesitation. I don't just believe it, I know it. Humans have something no one else has, curiosity, courage, and heart. And sometimes, that's enough to change everything. The Queen's eyes glowed brighter for a moment. The attendants shifted, whispering to one another in a language that was musical and harsh at the same time. Alex could not understand their words, but he could feel their tension. He was making waves in their world. You are bold. Beyond reason, the Queen said finally. Most of your kind would have bowed, cowered, or fled. Alex shrugged casually. Humans don't do that. Not usually. She studied him again as if weighing his soul. Then abruptly, she turned her gaze toward the far end of the hall. Enough talk. There will be trials. You will show me why humans deserve to walk among the stars. Alex's heart raced, not with fear but excitement. Finally, something interesting. He had come here to learn, to explore, but also to show the galaxy what humanity was capable of. And this was exactly the kind of challenge he lived for. Trials, huh? He said, smiling at the Queen. I hope you're ready to be surprised. Her wings twitched. We shall see, human. We shall see. As the audience concluded, Alex and his team were escorted to the preparation chambers. He looked back at the throne, catching one last glance of the Queen. She sat still, her form radiant in the shifting light, studying them as though she were already calculating the odds of success and failure. Alex let a quiet laugh escape him. Well, he muttered to himself, this is going to be fun. Lieutenant Mara, walking beside him, raised an eyebrow. Fun? Captain, this is a queen, this is… Well, not fun, Alex winked. Mara, everything worth doing is a little dangerous. And nothing worth surviving is easy. The Viralis Palace shimmered around them as they prepared for the first of the Queen's trials. Alex knew that nothing in his life had prepared him for this alien world. The trials would test his mind, his courage, and his humanity. But he also knew something else. Humans were never predictable. And maybe, just maybe, that unpredictability was exactly what the Queen and the universe would come to respect. As the doors closed behind them, the light of Zithra danced across Alex's face. He felt alive in a way he never had before. And somewhere deep in his chest, a quiet thrill whispered, humans were about to show the stars who they truly were. And the Queen, watching from above, felt a flicker of curiosity she could not quite name. How intriguing, she thought. This human, he is unlike any I have ever seen. The chambers of Zithra were unlike anything humans had ever seen. Rooms shifted as if alive, walls flowing with colors that had no names and floors that seemed to float above nothing. Captain Alex Rayner walked through the first corridor with Lieutenant Mara close behind, feeling both awe and the faint tingle of danger. This place, it's alive, Mara whispered. I can feel it watching us, Alex nodded. Maybe. Or maybe it's just testing how brave we are. At the end of the corridor, a tall figure awaited them. It was not the Queen this time, but her chief advisor, a Viralis named Sivrel, with skin like liquid sapphire and eyes that glowed with intelligence. You will face the trials, Sivrel said, voice smooth but firm. 3 challenges. The first tests your mind, the second your courage, and the third, your spirit. Fail any, and you leave Zithra as nothing more than spectators. Alex raised an eyebrow. No pressure, then. Sivrel's gaze flicked at him, unreadable, before nodding. Step forward. The first trial chamber opened before them. Inside, walls shifted constantly, forming a labyrinth of impossible geometry. Floating platforms hung over pits of light that seemed to lead into nothing. Strange symbols glowed on the walls, and holographic creatures floated through the air, each one observing the humans. This is a puzzle? Mara asked, her voice a mix of excitement and fear. Alex grinned. Looks like it. Let's see what humans can do. They stepped onto the first platform. The moment Alex moved, the floor shifted, sending him sliding to a new path. The symbols changed as he navigated the maze. Each step required quick thinking, coordination, and adaptation to rules that changed in mid-motion. Hours seemed to pass, though the chamber offered no sense of time. Alex relied not just on logic but on intuition. He noticed patterns in the symbols, rhythms in the shifting platforms, and most importantly, he trusted his human instincts to leap when needed, even when calculations seemed impossible. Mara followed closely, sometimes hesitating, sometimes stepping boldly. Together they discovered something remarkable. Humans did not simply calculate, they improvised. Where the Viralis relied on predetermined logic, humans were unpredictable, and unpredictability, it seemed, was a power the labyrinth could not fully anticipate. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the center. A sphere of glowing light hovered before them. Alex extended his hand and the sphere dissolved into a shower of sparkling colors. Sivril appeared beside them. "Impressive," he said. "Most species fail within moments. Your mind is adaptable. The Queen will note this," Alex smiled. "Adaptable, yes. But we're just getting started." The second trial awaited them outside. This one tested courage in the most direct way. They were led to a vast arena suspended above a swirling vortex of energy. From the darkness emerged creatures, massive, shadowy beings that seemed to shift between solid and mist. Their eyes glowed red and their claws sliced the air with deadly precision. "This is a fight?" Mara asked, wide-eyed. "Looks like it," Alex said, cracking his knuckles. "But don't forget, humans have a habit of finding ways out where others see none." The creatures lunged. Alex dodged, rolling over a floating platform, and observed carefully. Unlike brute strength, the creatures moved with strict patterns, almost like a language of motion. He noticed how they paused before each attack, how their eyes followed the smallest shifts. "Humans are fascinating," Sivril whispered from above. Alex guided Mara through the fight, combining evasive movements with quick improvisation. Where the creatures were predictable, humans were not. Alex used the environment, bouncing from platforms, luring the creatures into traps and turning their momentum against them. Each successful maneuver filled him with exhilaration. Hours or minutes, it was hard to tell, passed. At last, the last creature dissipated into mist. Alex and Mara were breathless but victorious. The Queen herself appeared at the edge of the arena, her wings glowing faintly in the ambient light. "You do not fight like humans," she said softly. "You fight like something new." Alex grinned. "Thank you, Your Majesty. We try our best." The third trial, the most mysterious, awaited them in a chamber filled with mirrors. Each mirror reflected not just their image, but fragments of memory, emotion, and fear. The challenge, Sivril explained, was to confront the inner self. Only by understanding and controlling their own spirit could they pass. Alex stepped forward first. The mirrors rippled, showing his childhood memories, moments of failure, moments of courage. Shadows of doubt whispered at him, tempting him to retreat, but he remembered why he was here. To prove humanity's worth, not just to Zithara, but to himself. "Humans are resilient," he said quietly. "We face fear, but we don't let it stop us." The mirrors shimmered. The shadows recoiled. Step by step, Alex walked through the room, each reflection testing him more deeply. He felt sadness, anger, and regret, but he also felt hope, courage, and love. By acknowledging both his weaknesses and strengths, he reached the end. Mara followed, her own reflections challenging her to face fears she had hidden even from herself. Alex waited, quietly encouraging her, reminding her of human resilience. Together they emerged victorious. Sivril appeared again. "You have passed. Your mind is clever, your courage unmatched, and your spirit strong. The Queen will now speak to you herself." The chamber doors opened into a vast hall. Queen Lyrith descended from her throne, moving closer to Alex and Mara. The glow from her wings illuminated the room like sunlight refracted through crystal. "You have endured what no other species could," she said, voice both commanding and thoughtful. "Yet endurance is only the beginning. Humanity is unpredictable, clever, and strangely bold. You remind me of something I'd almost forgotten, the power of spirit over logic." Alex bowed lightly. "Your Majesty, humans are nothing if not spirited, and we like challenges." A faint smile touched her lips. "Perhaps that is why I feel curiosity, why I feel intrigued by your kind. You do not fear me and you do not bow blindly. That is unusual." Alex stepped closer, maintaining respectful distance. "Respect is earned, Your Majesty." But admiration? That can happen in an instant. The Queen's eyes glimmered. And yet you smile. Even when faced with the impossible. Alex shrugged, smiling again. Humans have a habit of finding light in darkness. It's a survival skill. For the first time, the Queen seemed to consider him not as a subject, but as something more. An equal of sorts, though she would never admit it outright. She turned slightly, gesturing toward the floating spires visible through the hall's crystalline walls. There is more to learn, she said. More than your mind, your courage, or even your spirit. The galaxy is vast and danger is everywhere. You may have passed these trials, human, but the true test has yet to come. Alex's heart raced, not with fear, but with excitement. The challenges had been difficult, yet they had revealed something extraordinary. Humans were capable of more than even the most powerful alien species could predict. And that was the true essence of humanity. Then I suppose we should prepare, Alex said, his grin widening. Because humans don't back down from a challenge. Mara laughed softly. You make it sound so easy, Alex's eyes sparkled. Nothing truly great is easy, Lieutenant. That's the point. Queen Lyrith observed them silently, her wings folding neatly behind her. She did not speak, but her expression held a flicker of admiration, though she would never say it aloud. She had seen the human spark, that strange mixture of courage, curiosity, and heart, and it intrigued her. As Alex and his team left the hall, preparing for the next phase of their journey on Zythera, he felt a strange thrill. They had passed the trials of mind, courage, and spirit. But the universe held more than trials. It held mysteries, dangers, and wonders. And humanity, with its unpredictable brilliance, was ready to face them. Alex paused at the exit of the hall, looking back toward the Queen's throne. She was still observing, silent, radiant, and powerful. He smiled again quietly to himself. Humans are going to leave their mark here, he whispered, one way or another. And somewhere deep in the shifting light of Zythera, the Queen thought the same, but with far less certainty and far more curiosity. The tranquility of Zythera was a fragile illusion. The crystal towers glimmered in the soft sunlight, streams of bioluminescent flora swaying gently in the alien breeze. Yet high above the planet, the sensors aboard Aurora began to beep urgently. Captain Alex Rayner leaned over the console, scanning the display. Mara, tell me we're seeing this wrong. Lieutenant Mara shook her head, her expression tense. Negative, Captain. It's real, a fleet. Massive, fast, and armed with weapons that could level cities. And they're heading straight for Zythera. Alex's jaw tightened. This was the moment he had known might come. The universe had its dangers, and Zythera, despite its beauty, was not immune. The Queen's trial of courage and spirit had prepared them for tests of mind and heart, but nothing could fully prepare them for the cold calculation of war. The Viralis fleet, sleek and crystalline, began to assemble above the planet. Queen Lyrith appeared in the command hall, her wings folding neatly behind her. Her presence commanded silence. You are humans, she said, voice echoing in the chamber. You have survived trials meant to test your kind, yet you have no experience in war on this scale. I see fear in your eyes. Alex stepped forward, confident yet respectful. Your Majesty, fear is natural. But humans, we do not let fear stop us. We adapt, we think differently, and we fight to protect those who cannot fight alone. The Queen studied him, her glowing eyes measuring not just his words, but the determination behind them. Do you think your unpredictability can matter against the power of fleets? Alex smiled faintly. We'll show you. Preparations began immediately. Alex worked alongside Viralis strategists, studying their technology and tactics. Unlike human ships, Viralis craft relied on energy manipulation and telepathic coordination. Human minds, however, were not so easily predicted. Alex suggested combining Viralis energy shields with human mobility patterns, creating formations that were flexible, erratic, and hard for the enemy to anticipate. This is unconventional, said Sivril, observing Alex's calculations, but it might just work. Your species is strange yet clever, Alex grinned. Strange and clever. You'll get used to it. As the fleet approached, the sky above Zythera darkened with hostile ships, triangular and jagged, their red lights like warning flames. They moved with terrifying precision, ready to overwhelm the Viralis. Status? Alex asked, moving to the tactical console. Mara's fingers flew over the controls. They're closing fast, Captain. If we don't act now, Zythera's defenses won't hold. Alex took a deep breath. Then we act. Humans improvise. Let's give them something they won't expect. The first wave of enemy ships descended. The Viralis fleet responded with traditional formations, energy beams slicing through space. But the invaders were relentless, their numbers overwhelming. Then Alex implemented his plan. Human ships darted unpredictably between Viralis vessels, using the alien technology in ways it was not designed for. Energy shields flickered and shifted as Alex directed attacks from unexpected angles. The effect was immediate. The enemy fleet faltered, confused by the chaotic creative tactics. A formation that would have destroyed a single Viralis cruiser now missed entirely. Crashing into the void, the Queen, observing from her command platform, raised an eyebrow. "Humans," she murmured. "You are unpredictable." Alex's grin widened. "Exactly. You have to be unpredictable to survive." Despite their success, the battle was far from over. The enemy fleet adapted quickly, targeting the human ships with increased intensity. Mara's voice cut through the comms. "Captain, we're taking heavy fire. Shields are weakening." Alex's mind raced. Conventional responses would fail. But humans excelled in improvisation. He instructed the ships to create decoy patterns, moving in zigzags and sudden bursts that mimicked larger formations. Some ships feigned retreat, drawing enemy fire while others flanked from unseen angles. The enemy hesitated. Humans were forcing them to make mistakes they could not afford. One by one, enemy ships were disabled, forced to retreat or destroyed. The tide of battle slowly turned. The Queen's presence remained commanding, yet for the first time, Alex noticed something subtle in her expression, an almost imperceptible respect. She had witnessed humans acting not with brute strength but with creativity, courage, and teamwork, and that was a rare combination. Hours passed. The sky above Zithera, once dark with warships, now shimmered with remnants of the defeated fleet. Alex, Mara, and the Viralis commanders breathed deeply, surveying the aftermath. Zithera had survived. The Queen descended to the battlefield observation deck. Her wings glimmered softly, her eyes studying the humans who had contributed so much. "You have exceeded expectations," she said. "Most species would have fled. Most species would have followed orders without thought. But humans, you think differently. You adapt, you act boldly. That is power in a form I had not anticipated." Alex nodded. "We believe in courage, Your Majesty, and we believe in protecting those who cannot protect themselves." Her gaze lingered on him. "And yet you smile even as danger surrounds you." Alex shrugged lightly. "Humans don't stop smiling just because the universe is scary. Fear is a part of life. What matters is what you do despite it." The Queen's silence lasted a long moment. Then she spoke softly, almost to herself. "Curious, humans. You are not the weakest after all." Alex felt a thrill of pride, but he did not let it slow him. The battle had been won, but threats remained. He turned to Mara. "Status?" Mara checked the tactical display. "Enemy retreating. Shields are stable for now. Zithera is safe. For the moment." Alex's eyes scanned the horizon. "Good, but the universe doesn't wait. And neither do we. Humans survive because we act, not because we wait for safety." Sivril appeared beside them, observing quietly. "Your species is remarkable. I see why the Queen is intrigued. You do not fight like others. You do not rely on overwhelming power. You rely on ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability." Alex smiled. "Exactly. And it's worked so far." The Queen stepped closer, her voice calm but firm. "Your victories today are noted, Captain Raynor. Yet this is only the beginning. The galaxy is vast, and threats will continue to rise. The question is, can your kind continue to surprise me?" Alex's grin returned. "That's the fun part, Your Majesty. Humans always surprise. Sometimes ourselves, sometimes the universe." For the first time, the Queen's expression softened. Not entirely, but enough to reveal intrigue. She had seen humans in action, clever, bold, adaptable, and unafraid. These were qualities that no other species had demonstrated in her experience, and they were qualities that fascinated her. The humans were invited to a council with the Viralis leaders, where strategies for the planet's defense and future cooperation were discussed. Alex contributed boldly, suggesting combined training exercises and improvisational drills that would allow both humans and Viralis to adapt to unpredictable threats. "You think too boldly," one Viralis advisor whispered. Alex smiled at her. "Sometimes bold thinking is the only way to survive." And humans were good at survival. The Queen observed silently, wings shimmering faintly. She had begun to see humans not as weak or untested, but as something unique, something worth paying attention to. As night fell over Zethera, the crystalline towers glimmered like stars fallen to the planet. Alex stood on a balcony overlooking the glowing landscape, Mara beside him. "We did well today," Mara said softly. "Better than I imagined." Alex nodded, gazing at the horizon. "Yes, but the universe isn't done testing us yet, and neither should we stop testing ourselves." Somewhere in the palace above, Queen Lyrith observed them. For the first time, she considered a possibility she had not before, that humans, unpredictable, bold, and courageous, might be more than just guests on Zethera. They might be partners, or even equals. Alex, unaware of her thoughts, smiled faintly to himself. "Humans have survived the first real test," he murmured, "and we're just getting started." The stars above Zethera glittered, and somewhere in the vast galaxy more challenges awaited. But for the first time, humans had proven their value, not just through strength or numbers, but through ingenuity, courage, and spirit. And Queen Lyrith, she could not help but wonder what this strange species might do next. The battle above Zethera had passed, leaving the planet calm and glowing under the soft light of its twin suns. Captain Alex Rayner and Lieutenant Mara walked through the crystalline gardens near the Queen's palace, the air alive with the soft hum of energy from floating plants. The aftermath of the battle had left a lingering tension in the air, but it was also a time for reflection. "Humans really surprised them," Mara said, glancing at Alex. "Even the Queen, I can't believe she's—" "Intrigued?" Alex smiled faintly. "Curiosity is a powerful thing, Mara, and humans have a habit of stirring it wherever we go." Ahead, the Queen awaited, sitting upon a raised platform among the glowing flora. She watched the humans approach, her wings folded neatly behind her. Yet the soft shimmer of light suggested calmness rather than command. Alex noticed how different she looked in this moment, less a queen, more a being observing the world in quiet thought. "You are persistent," she said, her voice carrying calm authority. "And you have proven yourself in battle. Yet I find myself unsettled. Your kind is strange. You smile in danger, you act boldly when fear is expected, and you do not submit easily." Alex inclined his head respectfully. "Your Majesty, humans survive because we face fear, not because we ignore it. And we live because we act, not because we wait for safety. That makes us strange, I suppose. But it also makes us resilient." The Queen's gaze softened for a moment. "Resilient, yes. Perhaps that is why I am curious about you. Not all creatures withstand tests of mind, courage, and spirit and emerge undiminished." Alex took a cautious step closer. "Sometimes the most important victories are not against others, but within ourselves. Humans understand that." She studied him, her glowing eyes reflecting light in ways that made Alex feel both observed and understood. "Your words. They carry weight, human. Most species speak of victories, strategies, or power. You speak of spirit," Alex shrugged lightly. "Power is important, but humans know that heart and mind often decide outcomes where brute force fails." The Queen's silence lingered. She had always relied on intellect, precision, and control. Yet here was a human, speaking boldly of courage, intuition, and spirit, and it stirred something unfamiliar in her. A mix of admiration and intrigue she could not easily define. "You intrigue me," she admitted softly, almost a whisper. "I expected humans to be fragile, clever, or amusing perhaps. But not this combination. Boldness, intellect, and heart. All in one." Alex smiled, careful not to overstep, but confident enough to meet her gaze. "We humans are rarely predictable. Sometimes that's our greatest strength." For a long moment, they simply observed each other. The energy in the gardens shimmered, reacting subtly to the Queen's presence, creating a soft dance of light that surrounded them. It was as if the planet itself acknowledged the significance of the meeting. "Tell me," the Queen said finally, leaning forward slightly. "Your species? What drives you? Why do you risk so much, yet smile as if danger is a game?" Alex considered carefully. "Because the universe is full of unknowns. Fear is inevitable. What matters is what we do despite it. Humans take risks not out of recklessness, but because we know that without action, nothing changes. And we smile, because hope is stronger than fear. Courage is more than a duty. It is a choice." The Queen's eyes glimmered, reflecting a subtle admiration she could not fully articulate. And you carry hope even when surrounded by darkness, Alex nodded. Hope is contagious, Your Majesty. Humans have used it to survive, to inspire, and to unite. Sometimes it is stronger than any weapon. For the first time, the Queen's wings twitched, not in command, but in thought. She had spent centuries relying on strategy, control, and calculation, and yet humans had taught her something new. Unpredictability coupled with courage, creativity paired with spirit. These were not weaknesses, they were strengths beyond measure. You speak wisely, human, she said softly. Perhaps more wisely than even some of my own kind. It is rare to encounter such honesty and depth. Alex's lips curved in a faint smile. Humans survive because we do not hide behind rules or expectations. We act, we feel, we adapt. And sometimes, we inspire. The Queen regarded him in silence. There was an intensity in her gaze, one that was neither threat nor command, but curiosity and reflection. Inspiration, and yes, that is a quality I have underestimated in your species. You have shown me that humans are more than mere creatures. You are something else, something capable of growth, courage, and change. Alex felt a quiet thrill. It was not arrogance, it was recognition. Humans had faced trials of mind, courage, and spirit. They had defended Zithera, and now they were being acknowledged by a being whose power and intellect were beyond comprehension. I appreciate your words, Your Majesty, Alex said carefully, but humans do not act for praise. We act because it is necessary, because it is right, and because it shows who we are. The Queen tilted her head, considering him. And yet, I find myself wishing to know more. About you and about your species. Humans are unpredictable, yes, but also fascinating. There is light within you that I did not expect to see. Alex took a deep breath. He had faced fear, danger, and uncertainty, and now he faced something equally new, the subtle connection of understanding, respect, and perhaps even trust. Then I will tell you what I can, Your Majesty. Humans are not perfect. We fail, we fear, we make mistakes, but we also rise, we endure, and we fight to protect what matters. That is what makes us remarkable. For a long moment, the Queen did not speak. The energy in the garden seemed to hum softly, a quiet acknowledgement of the moment's weight. Finally, she said, remarkable. Yes, perhaps that is the word. I have ruled countless species, and yet I have never seen one like yours. I wish to understand more, human. Alex nodded slowly. Understanding takes time, Your Majesty. But humans are patient when it matters. And curious. Endlessly curious. That curiosity has kept our species alive for millennia. A faint smile appeared on the Queen's lips, subtle but genuine. Curiosity, and yes, that is a quality I had forgotten in my reign. Perhaps humans can teach even a queen something new. Alex allowed himself a quiet chuckle. Sometimes we do. And sometimes, we just surprise everyone. The Queen studied him for a long moment, wings folding and unfolding gently. There was a subtle shift in her demeanor, one that suggested the beginning of trust. She had seen humans in trials of mind, courage, and spirit. She had watched them survive a battle that would have crushed other species, and now she was beginning to see the heart of humanity. You have endured much, she said quietly, and yet you do not seem burdened. Most would crumble under pressure, yet humans, you endure with strength and grace. That is admirable. Alex bowed his head slightly. We do what we must, Your Majesty, and we do it together. Humans are strongest when we act as one, when we combine courage, intelligence, and heart. The Queen's eyes glimmered with something new, a mixture of admiration, curiosity, and cautious respect. Together, yes. That is a concept worth noting. Perhaps it is why your species thrives. Alex looked at her, feeling a quiet thrill at the bond forming. Not romance, not yet, but a connection built on respect, understanding, and shared experience. Humans are capable of many things, he said, but one of our greatest strengths is our ability to inspire and to unite. And sometimes, that changes everything. The Queen remained silent, yet her expression suggested she was considering every word. She had always been certain of power, strategy, and control. But humans had shown her a different kind of strength, one that combined unpredictability, courage, intellect, and heart. As the twin suns set over Zithera, casting long shadows across the crystalline towers, Alex and Mara prepared to leave the garden. But the Queen's words lingered in the air, quiet yet significant. You have impressed me, human, she said softly. Perhaps humans are capable of more than I ever imagined. And perhaps, there is value in observing, learning, and understanding your kind. Alex smiled, tipping his head respectfully. Then we will continue to show you, Your Majesty, one step at a time. For the first time, the Queen seemed genuinely intrigued by humanity, not as subjects, not as curiosities, but as equals in spirit. And for Alex, that recognition was a victory as meaningful as any battle. Humans had survived trials of mind, courage, and spirit. They had faced danger and uncertainty, and now they had begun to build a bond that could change not only the relationship between species, but perhaps even the future of Zythera itself. Alex glanced back at the glowing towers, feeling a quiet sense of purpose. The universe is full of challenges, he murmured. But humans, we thrive on them. And somewhere high above, Queen Lyrith watched, her curiosity deepening, her respect growing, and her understanding of humanity beginning to take root. This human and his kind, they are extraordinary. Perhaps they are more than I realized. The calm over Zythera was short-lived. Scouts from the Viralis fleet reported that the enemy, though beaten before, was returning with a larger force. The sky above the crystalline towers darkened with warships, their red engines cutting across the blue light of the planet. Captain Alex Rayner stood on the command platform, hands gripping the railing as he studied the tactical display. Lieutenant Mara was beside him, tense but ready. They're back, Mara said, and they're stronger. Alex nodded, a determined glint in his eyes. Good. That means we get to show them and the Queen exactly what humans are capable of. The Queen arrived beside them, her wings folding and unfolding slowly. She observed the preparations with quiet intensity, her expression calm but focused. Human, she said softly, this is no ordinary threat. Your ingenuity will be tested to its limits. Alex smiled faintly. Then we'll give them a test they won't forget. The battle began at dawn. Enemy ships descended in formations designed to crush the Viralis fleet. But Alex had spent the night planning, combining human unpredictability with Viralis technology. The ships moved in synchronized patterns, yet with intentional deviations that confused the attackers. Stick to the plan, Alex called over the comms. Follow the formations, but remember, think, adapt, and surprise them. The first wave of enemy fire struck. Energy beams sliced through space, lighting the sky like a violent storm. Human pilots maneuvered unpredictably, weaving through the Viralis ships, baiting enemy forces and turning attacks back against them. The Queen watched, eyes narrowed in concentration. They are unpredictable, she muttered, and effective. Alex directed the fleet, combining human tactics with alien energy shields. Ships that were designed to be defensive became offensive tools. Enemy formations faltered under the pressure of human creativity, their attacks missing by fractions of a second. Their movements disrupted. Mara shouted from the comms, excitement and fear mingling in her voice. Captain, we're holding them off. The shields are working. Alex grinned. Good, keep it up. Humans don't give up. The battle raged for hours. Enemy forces pressed relentlessly, but humans and Viralis together formed a cohesive, adaptive front. Alex encouraged improvisation, allowing pilots to use untested maneuvers, and it worked. The enemy fleet was confused, divided, and vulnerable. High above, Queen Lyrith observed quietly. She had witnessed countless battles, yet humans were unlike any force she had ever commanded or seen. They combined courage, creativity, and heart in ways no other species could. She could not help but admire their resilience. Alex noticed the Queen's attention and spoke softly over the comms. Your Majesty, humans fight not just with weapons, but with spirit. That's what makes us strong. The Queen's gaze lingered on him. Indeed, your spirit is extraordinary. As the final wave of enemy ships approached, Alex initiated the last phase of his plan. Human ships feigned retreat in precise patterns, drawing the enemy into traps where Viralis energy beams waited. Some ships split off to flank, while others created decoy formations. The combination of human unpredictability and alien technology proved devastating. Enemy ships were disabled one by one. Explosions lit the sky, reflecting across the crystalline towers below. The Viralis fleet gained ground, pushing the invaders back into the void from which they came. Finally, the enemy commander, realizing the futility, signaled retreat. The remaining ships scattered, disappearing into the darkness of space. Zythera had survived, and the victory was complete. The Queen descended to the battlefield observation deck, her wings glowing softly in the aftermath of the fight. She studied Alex and his crew, her expression unreadable but thoughtful. "You have done well, humans," she said, voice steady but carrying weight. "Most species would have fallen. Most would have fled, but you fought with ingenuity, courage, and heart. You are not merely survivors, you are extraordinary." Alex bowed slightly. "Your Majesty, we fight because it is right, because it is necessary, and because we believe in protecting those who cannot protect themselves. That is humanity." The Queen regarded him quietly for a moment, then spoke in a tone that was rare, soft, approving, and sincere. "Your kind is remarkable, bold, unpredictable, and brave. You have earned not just my respect, but the respect of all Zithera. Let it be known that humans are worthy allies, not by strength alone, but by spirit." A ripple of astonishment spread through the assembled Viralis and human crews. Alex felt a swell of pride, not in himself alone, but in humanity. They had been tested, underestimated, and yet they had proven their worth, not by overwhelming power, but by creativity, courage, and heart. "Your Majesty," Alex said quietly, "humans are capable of many things, but one of our greatest strengths is that we never stop learning, never stop trying, and never stop inspiring. That is what allows us to survive and thrive." The Queen's expression softened, a rare smile touching her lips. "I see now that your spirit is indeed a force to be reckoned with. You have shown me that even the smallest and seemingly fragile beings can shape the course of events if they act with courage and heart. Humans, you are extraordinary." Mara, standing beside Alex, smiled widely. "Captain, they actually called us extraordinary." Alex chuckled softly. "Not just us, Mara. Humanity." The Queen turned her gaze toward the horizon where the remnants of the defeated enemy fleet were disappearing into the void. "Zithera is safe. Thanks to your species, human. Perhaps the galaxy has underestimated humanity for too long. I shall not make that mistake again." Alex nodded. "We don't ask for recognition, Your Majesty. We act because it is right, but it is encouraging to know that our efforts are appreciated." The Queen studied him closely. "Encouragement is not necessary for your kind, but respect. Respect is deserved, and you have earned it. I, along with my people, will remember this day." A quiet hush fell over the observation deck. The sun's light reflected off the crystalline towers, casting patterns of color across the victorious fleets. Alex felt the weight of the moment, the culmination of trials, battles and challenges that had tested not only skill, but spirit. He looked around at his crew, at the humans who had fought with him, and felt a profound sense of pride. They had faced fear and danger, but their courage, ingenuity, and humanity had shone brighter than any weapon. The Queen's voice broke the silence. "Captain Raynor, I believe this is the beginning of a new understanding between our species. One built not on dominance, but on respect, courage, and shared values. Humans, you have earned a place among us." Alex smiled, tipping his head respectfully. "Then we will continue to prove ourselves, Your Majesty. Humans thrive on challenges, and we will face them together, with courage and heart." The Queen nodded, her eyes reflecting both admiration and curiosity. She had witnessed humans in trials of mind, courage, and spirit. She had seen them in battle, improvising, adapting, and leading with heart. And now she understood fully. Humanity was not merely another species. It was a force of unpredictability, creativity, and courage that could inspire even the most powerful beings in the galaxy. As the fleets of humans and Viralis moved to secure the skies, Alex took a moment to look at the Queen once more. She was observing the horizon, silent, radiant, and powerful. Yet beneath that regal exterior there was something new: respect, curiosity, and perhaps even a subtle admiration for the humans who had changed her view of the universe. He turned back to his crew. "Humans did well today," he said quietly. "Better than anyone expected. Not because we had the strongest weapons, but because we had the strongest spirit. That's what sets us apart." Mara nodded, her eyes reflecting the glow of the crystalline towers. "Humans, we really are something else." Alex smiled softly, feeling the truth of her words. Humanity had survived trials, faced impossible odds, and had emerged victorious. Not merely by force, but by ingenuity, courage, and heart. And now the galaxy would remember them, and Zithera would respect them. Somewhere above, Queen Lyrith watched, her mind racing with new possibilities. She had been a ruler of countless species, but humans were different. Bold, unpredictable, and spirited. Qualities that had won battles, earned respect, and inspired even a queen. This human, and his kind, she thought quietly, wings folding and unfolding in soft reflection. They are extraordinary, perhaps more extraordinary than I realized. As night fell over Zathura, the stars above glittered like diamonds against the black canvas of space. The humans and Viralis alike looked to the sky, knowing that while this battle was won, the universe remained vast and full of challenges. But humanity had proven one undeniable truth. When courage, creativity, and heart combine, even the impossible can be overcome. And for Captain Alex Rayner, this was only the beginning. Humans had earned their place among the stars not through domination, but through the power of spirit, the strength of heart, and the courage to act boldly, even when no one expected them to. The Queen's voice echoed softly in the distance, almost to herself. Humans. Indeed, they are extraordinary,